Hi, it's May 7th, 2016 at 7:32 p.m. And I've recycled a web page design that I had done in the past. Um, I was thinking to myself, why are people mean? So of course, what do? I Google it. And what I wound up getting was 5 different web pages from different sources. And so I took my navigation areas over here on the left, and I was able to open all 5 pages here in this iframe down here. This iframe at the bottom, I believe I gave an ID of B, the letter B, and this up here with the pink background, and you see this audio player. This is another iframe, and I believe I gave it an ID of A, so that when I click on a link here, it's going to open one thing up here and another thing down here. So I, of course, used Audacity. It's a free audio recording software, and you can make MP3 files, you can make other kinds of files as well. Let me put that back on pause. So I'll show you the pages really quick. I only read this article. Using Audacity, I read this entire article from Health Guidance for Better Health, and What Makes a Person Mean and Cruel by Susan Knowlton. And you see right here, it took 7 minutes and 55 seconds to read this article. I did not read the rest of them, so when I click on the other ones, what makes a person mean and cruel? How to determine why someone is treating you poorly by Wiki, How to Do Anything. The next one, file not found. Because I did not create an MP3 here, the file is not found. The code must have had another MP3 or the same MP3 put into the code for this link. That's why it didn't say file not found for that one. But the rest of these should say file not found as well. You got Why Are People Mean by Oprah, O Magazine. Why Are People Mean? Why Are People Mean? I've got the same. There might be 2 of the same title. Either that or I didn't get this one. Why is nothing showing? Okay. Let me try the last one. Okay, my computer's froze. This last one, Why Are People Mean? Don't Take It Personally, by Excel at Life, Pursuing Excellence in Life, Relationships, Sports, and Careers, by Monica A. Frank, PhD. Let me try this one more time. Oh, that's weird. Okay, let me see what's going on with my code. It's the 4th link. Here's the last one. It's this one. Okay, since I'm having a hard time opening, this is what I mentioned before. Some web pages are coded to not open in an iframe. This must be one of them. So what I'm going to do, instead of the window.b.location.href, which is going to open this in the iframe, I am going to, let's see, how would I do this? I don't know if, I've never had to do it like this before. I don't even know if that works. Window.blank. I've never done it like that. I've always did target equals underscore blank, but let me see if window underscore blank will work for the heck of it. This is me just guessing if it'll open this in a new tab. And this is not doing it. Okay, so I have a little bug here that I need to deal with. I've got to find a different way to get this link to open up both this and open that up in that tab, so that this is something I need to deal with. Let's just get to the code. I have, let me put this side by side. I have a folder called y_r_people_mean on my desktop. And what I have inside that folder is a couple images, brain.bmp, brain.ico, and that's, you see this brain here and this brain up here in the browser tab. I've got a couple things that I got off of Google Images, and this crazy face is mean.jpg, and then we've got grinch.jpg. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Gotta find humor in life. And then the one MP3 that I actually created when I read for about a little over 7 minutes for that first article, and then another brain.ping file. I have whyArePeopleMean.html. This is the page, this is my landing page. This is the page that when I click on it, it gives me this whole site with the navigation and the two iframes. Cover.html and 2.html are pages that let me pick between this mean or Grinch or even this picture of me, this me JPEG. So I will right click all of these and hit edit with Notepad to show you the code. I don't need to keep this open anymore. Alright, cover.html. If I hit run, launch in Firefox, what you get is just the image. The whole page is nothing but the image. And it's HTML head style. I have a style for the body that's text align center, margin 0 pixels, padding 0 pixels, end of style, end of head. Now the body tag has nothing more than just the image. img src for source equals mean.jpg height equals 100%. So by putting this image in this cover.html page, I can use this height control. So that's why I did that. The 2.html, if I hit run launch in Firefox, that's that strange picture of me. I used image editing software off of a cell phone, just being silly. I guess this was maybe about, I don't know, almost a year ago. Okay, so what I could put, since cover has the mean JPEG, and 2, I could put, I think I called it Grinch. Grinch.jpg, was it? Let's see, I forgot what I named it that quick. The Grinch, yeah, Grinch.jpg file. So, why are people mean? My default page is right here. Fieldset, legend. Oh no, that's not what I want. I guess I didn't create a default page on this one. What I could do, until I figure out how that fourth page will open with the MP3 and then open up in a new tab, I could take that whole thing and delete it. And now I can put my 2.html page there, the page that I created, the 2.html with the Grinch. So when I get to that fourth link, what it's going to do is just going to open up that picture and not a website. Okay, so that's those two external pages. Let's get off of this, off of this, and now to my page. Here we go. This is my landing page, whyArePeopleMean.html. There's the HTML beginning tag and the head opening tag. This right here, link rel equals shortcut icon, href equals brain.ping, type equals image /x icon. That's how I get this little brain image up here in the browser tab. Then we've got the opening and closing title tags with the sentence, why are people mean? And that is showing up in my browser tab up here, right next to that image. Now we have a bunch of styles. Instead of putting them in an external CSS style sheet, I just kept it all in the head. So I've got a Fieldset style with 250 pixels, background color gray, border radius 20 pixels. So this section right here that you can't completely see, let me open this up all the way. This gray background here, This entire thing is a field set with a legend that I'm using for my navigation part. This "why are people mean" with the brain image here is actually an image and text in a legend. So instead of, you can use a legend this way, instead of just having just words, you can also put an image in there as well. So it's just another way to show an element. And the field set is, like I said, all of this gray background. And inside of the field set, we've got all these list items. So let's get back to the code. I have my list items in an OL tag. I think originally when I did this particular, not what I'm doing right now, but the original reason that I did this code that I did months ago or whenever I did this, I used an ordered list so that numbers were over here. Well, I didn't change that from an OL tag to a UL tag, but to take the numbers off, I just used list style type none. So the whole style for the OL tag is display inline, list style type none, and text align left. Then for my legend, which I said is enclosing the little brain image and the little title here, I have border thick pink ridge, border radius 20 pixels. Again, border radius 20 pixels gives us a rounded corner. Background color white, padding 5 pixels, font weight bold, font size 30 pixels. So that it's larger and more like a marker instead of a pen, thicker. For the list items, which are these pink rounded rectangles that when you hover over them they go from pink to white, those list items have all of this. Margin bottom 5 pixels, padding 5 pixels, border radius 20 pixels, border thick pink ridge, background color pink, height 40 pixels. And then these three statements give us a shadow effect. You've got WebKit box shadow, you've got Moz box shadow, and you've got box shadow. And they all use the same numbers here: 2 pixels, 0 pixels, 11 pixels, 7 pixels, and then RGBA values of 0, 0, 0, 0.75. The three different statements are for targeting different browsers so that you get the most browser compatibility that offer shadows. Then I've got the list item hover, background color white. So when I hover my mouse over these different things, it turns the background color white. I have £A, which means IDA, which I used for, I've got two different iframes here, so I gave them two different styles. One's this little skinny one with rounded corners, and one's this big square rectangle, depending on your window. So for A, the iframe with the ID of A, you've got background color pink, border radius 20 pixels, padding 5 pixels, and margin 5 pixels. And for the iframe with the ID of B, I originally gave it a background color of black, border of 10 pixels, black inset, and text align center, but I put a Z in front of background color black because I changed my mind, and I could have just taken it off, but I kept it here in case I want to change my mind. All I have to do is back that Z out. Instead of retyping it over and over again, I just can do that. And if I change my mind and want it white, I just Z it, and I don't have to mess around. Okay, then I gave myself a note. So you've got your less than sign, exclamation point, dash dash to start the comment or the note, and then dash dash greater than sign to end the comment. When you're in Notepad++, notes are colorized green, and so the browser is not going to read this as directions to show the page. It's just known as a note for you. It ignores this basically. So there's the end of the head. Oh, it sounds like we're going to have a bad storm. And here's the body. So now that we're in the body tag, we're going to actually see the elements. So we've got the field set I was talking about that we styled with this gray background. And then we have the legend tags. And in the legend, again, we've got this brain image and these words. And this is how you make an image. Image src equals brain.ping. So as long as you've got an image brain.ping in your folder, this is going to display it here. And then whatever text you want for the legend, why are people mean, is what the topic is of the day. Then here's our OL tag for our ordered list. And like I said, did I even read the... I didn't remember if I read the ordered list style. Display inline list style type none and text align left. Maybe I did. Anyway, there's the OL beginning tag. If you go all the way down here, you see the ending OL tag. So in the ordered list, we have all these LIs, which are list items. And at the end after the end of the OL, we have the end of the field set. So this is basically showing us all these elements here that I'm using for navigation purposes. Let's go back to the beginning of it, OL. So here's our first list item. All this code is going to create this first list item right here. So we have an LI on-click event. OnClick equals style.background color equals white, return true. So that when I click the list item, it stays white. Then we have an input, type equals checkbox, name equals nothing, and value equals nothing, and the word checked right before the ending input tag, the / greater than sign. All that is doing is creating a checkbox here. I don't have local storage or cookies or JavaScript doing anything with this particular element. You can see that the user can click it and check it, but there's no any other programming dealing with this. It's just here for in the future. As I become better at programming in JavaScript and local storage, I'll be able to access this element. It's already there. Then here's the link itself. aref equals 1.mp3 target equals a. So that means that when you click this link, as long as I have a 1.mp3 audio file in the folder, it will open up in this section right here that currently says file not found. Target equals a, again, that's the name of this iframe up here. Title equals nothing. If I wanted to put a little tooltip up there, I could. So let's say I could say read by Lisa. And then if you click that and refresh the page, if I hover over the link, you see it says the little pop-up says read by Lisa. That's what the title does, but I don't need to have that. I just wanted it there for if I wanted it in the future. And then the link has an on-click event as well, and it's got window.b.location.ref, and then inside single quotes we have an address of a website, and then we have a second statement that says return true. And then in between the opening link tag and closing link tag, which is this /a, we have the text of the link itself. What makes a person mean and cruel? And then that's what you see right here. Now, instead of this read by Lisa, what would make sense would be to put this title of the web page there, because if you are using this in a tablet or a smaller monitor and you can't read this whole title, what make cruel? Yeah, whatever. You're like, what the heck is that all about? So if you hover over it, the tooltip lets you know what the rest of the title is. But I don't really like having to actually hover over the link. I would rather have it where I can hover over the list item itself and get the rest of that title. So what I can do is I can go here to the title, what makes a person mean and cruel, and I could right click and cut it out of the link tag and stick it in the list item tag right before this greater than sign. So put your insertion point there, right click and paste. So now the title is actually being attached to the list item instead of the link. So then you save it here in Notepad++ and you save it in your page. Refresh the page. Now when I just click anywhere the link, it doesn't have to be anywhere in the list item, it doesn't have to be on the link, you get to see the name pop up. Okay. So there's that list item, and all I generally did was take the same thing and copy and paste it and just change the MP3 name and change the address of the new web page, and change the link text. And I didn't put the titles in here, so I'll take the link text, how to determine why someone is treating you poorly, and put it right there in the title. And again, I don't want that in my A link, I want that in my list item. So let me cut that out, go here right there and paste that in there. And go to the next one. Why are people mean? I don't know. They don't feel good. Who knows? Copy, title, paste, and then cut it out of there and put it in there. And finally, no, not finally, this is the one that I couldn't open, right? Is this the fourth one? Yeah, this is the fourth one that I couldn't get to open. So I'm gonna say Grinchy Grinch, because what is going to open here is going to be that Grinch image that is inside of 2.html. Okay, so we change that, and title Grinchy Grinch. Okay, get that out of the aref, get it in the li, save it. And now, last but not least, what makes a person mean and cruel? Copy, put that in the title, grab it out of there, cut it, and put it in there. Okay, let's see if I've got all my tooltips. What makes a person mean and cruel? How to determine why someone is treating you poorly? Why are people mean? Grinchy Grinch. And what makes a person mean and cruel? Okay, so I've got all my tooltips working, and I have all of my websites attached. The only thing I have is one recording, and that's for this first one. So when I click on that, this recording automatically plays, and then you can follow along here. Another thing I can do is I don't have it right now, and I don't have to do it, but I can put a page scroll code in here so that this will automatically start scrolling. So as you're listening, you don't have to play with the scroll at all, it'll just move. And then I'll have to try to time it so that it's as close as possible to the speed that I'm reading it. Sometimes that's difficult, if not impossible, to perfect. And so you wind up moving the scroll bar anyway. You just don't have to move it as much. If I took this MP3 file the same way I did, let's click Grinchy Grinch. Okay. Grinchy Grinch image is in its own page. It's what I say, 2.html. If I take another HTML, like just call it whatever, like this would be one audio 1.html, audio 2.html, audio 3.html, audio 4.html, audio 5.html, and then put the MP3 in its own audio tag. If I do that, then I could control whether the MP3 auto plays or loops or not. Whereas the way I have it right now, automatically linking directly to the MP3, when you click the link, it automatically plays. Now, of course, then if you don't want to hear it, then you have to hit the pause button. So that's up to you if you want it to automatically play, or if you want to put it in its own web page so that you have more control over it. Let's see, did I forget anything? This is the end result. Well, okay, for some reason I have the MP3 linking for both this link and this link. I need to fix that. So go up here. There's the first one, there's the second one. I don't have an MP3 yet, so I just take that out. Or what I could do so I don't have to keep typing over and over again. I can change that 1 to a 2. And I could change the 2 to a 3. And the 3 to a 4. And the 4 to a 5. Now it won't play it until I create it. So maybe I'll show you how I can create one if I can find, maybe if this one is not too long. Let's try this one. Let's see if I can read this one fast. Go in here, open up your Audacity. I'm going to try to make it quicker than a 7-minute because this is just for example purposes to show you how to do this if you want to do it yourself. Alright, so then you click the red button here and it starts recording. Okay, move it out of the way. Wiki how to do anything. How to determine why someone is treating you poorly. Think someone's being mean to you but you're not really sure why? Think they're up to something or secretly despise you? Whether it's friends, a family member, or people you don't even know, knowing the reason or reasons behind someone else's poor treatment of you is an important first step in fixing the problem. Steps. Note how they act around you. What are some of the more overt signs that this person is not behaving in a very nice way and has mean-spirited intent? Some of the possible signs might include gossiping about you to others, ignoring you, saying hurtful things to you, breaking or stealing your stuff, belittling you, setting you up to get into trouble for something you didn't do or say, calling you names, implying you're not as clever, good-looking, well-connected, valuable, etc. as them, intimidating you, leaving unfriendly and unkind messages about you on social networking sites, or breaking promises they swore they'd meet. Number 2, consider how you're feeling. What feelings or reactions do their words or actions give rise to you? If you have a feeling that you're being picked on incessantly, that things being said are aimed at provoking or undermining you, and that everything the person says or does around you leaves you feeling negative, hurt, or demeaned in some way, then it's possible that this person is behaving in a mean way. 3. Work through some possibilities before reaching your conclusion. Our own feelings tell only part of the story, and sometimes we can get them very wrong because we haven't understood things from the other person's perspective. Thus, while you may be convinced that the actions or words of the other person are mean-spirited in intent and outcome, it remains important to work through some of the possible motivations or causes behind their behavior. Doing so may give you a better idea of what their motive is. Sometimes people are unintentionally hurtful or have been thoughtless without purposefully being mean-spirited. Whatever the act or comment, there's always an underlying cause, which is good to understand before you take action against the person. Here are some things to ask yourself, and be honest when answering. Could it just be your imagination? If you're having a bad day, people can sometimes seem angrier and meaner than they would on the day in which you were happy. This is just the way our mind works, conferring your own nuances and feelings onto others. Could they have a crush on you? Sometimes a person can try to gain your attention by being mean or insulting you, or they might be embarrassed and using it to deflect you temporarily. Not all people do this, and if a person is seemingly being mean to you, it doesn't mean they have a crush on you, and if it is a crush, you'll probably get other vibes and the mean behavior is unlikely to go on for too long. Could they be trying to teach you a lesson? Often young people or even older people take well-meaning advice or tough love from friends and family as being remarks intended to hurt or wound. Constructive feedback is not mean-spirited though, and people who love you could just be trying to help, so don't confuse the different approaches. Could they be jealous? Did they say things to put you down or build themselves up? This could be the case if they're insecure and what they're trying to do is make themselves seem better than you. In this case, it's more of a statement of what they think of themselves than what they think of you, but it can be hard to see that when confronted with it. Could you have accidentally insulted them? Without knowing it, you may have actually insulted them first. This is especially common among friends who don't want to upset each other. They may not want to confront you about something that you said or did, so they take out their passive anger on you by being mean instead of openly talking about their feelings. Could they have troubles of their own? People who are unsure of how to reach out to others may take out their frustrations using anger. Making other people feel bad seems like a convenient way to make yourself feel good, but it's always at the expense of the other person. Stress is a big cause of people being mean. Someone may snap at you for no reason other than they're feeling stressed and they've lost their ability to self-control their emotions. It's important to recognize when someone's simply venting their emotions, in contrast to someone who's actually intending to be mean to you. Again, this isn't so much a statement about you, but concerns how they feel about themselves. Could they just dislike you? This is probably a result of a number of the reasons given above: having personal issues, being jealous of you, even mixing you up with someone they didn't like from their past, etc. But in many cases, people who are being mean to you don't do it because you've done, but in many cases, people who are being mean to you don't do it because you've done something to hurt them. Number 4, ask yourself, why do you need validation from them? Do you need them so much that you would have to supplicate them to make yourself better? It's fine if they don't like you. Who cares? Remember, if you're being insecure, remember you are being insecure, needy if you care. Okay. 5, ask others. Get the opinions of others, especially your parents and friends, so you can decide what to do next or help you become clear on why this person is behaving in this manner. Never ask advice from friends that may dislike the person you're asking them about. There's a risk in this case that they'll only paint the person in a negative light, possibly in order to make you have a fight or continued aggravated interactions with this person. The best people to ask are your parents or spouse, a trusted mentor, or a very trusted friend or family. Usually you'll find someone who's neutral and external enough from the mean behavior who is in a position to help you. 6, confront the person if you know them. It's important that you complete the steps above about noting factual evidence of the mean behavior, considering your own feelings, and working through the possibilities before confronting the person. Alleging that someone is being mean carries a lot of emotional weight, and if you haven't got your facts sorted and you accuse rather than express yourself using I statements, then you may make them feel angry or stupid, giving rise to defensiveness in place of a constructive conversation. Be sure that you weren't imagining it and that they weren't having a simple one-off venting session. It's better not to turn the proverbial molehill into a mountain. Express to the person how you feel about the mean-spirited behavior you've witnessed and let them know that you're open to discussing any relevant issues with them if they want to, and that you're especially keen to clear the air should you have said or done anything to upset them. Stay calm and don't demand an apology or recite what they said word for word. Just ask that they be more mindful of your feelings. If the person doesn't give an answer, give them time to come back to you later. The ball's in their court now, and they can either continue being mean or stop. If they continue, you know that you've told them how much it hurts you. You have confirmation that they're doing this on purpose now, and you can consider taking other actions. If this person is not well known to you, consider having someone else come up with you, such as a friend, counselor, parent, or other trusted person. 7. Avoid contact with the person if the mean behavior continues. After you've tried to sort things out, there isn't much more you can do to influence them to change their mind if they decide to keep being mean. It probably means that either they do actually hate you, which again is not usually to do with you, mostly it's to do with them, or that they feel they can't lose face by changing their attitude and carry on regardless of the facts before them. Again, this is not about you, but it's about their own insecurities. However, and this is the key part, you do not have to put up with someone trying to make you feel bad. Remove yourself from their sphere and don't listen to their taunts, spiteful attitude, or meanness. Ask your friends to stop repeating any of it back to you and suggest that they also remove themselves. Just let people know that you're not going to tolerate it anymore and make a clean cut. Even the meanest person gets bored when their target stops responding, and they'll look for someone else to hassle. Number 8, move on. By this stage, if mending fences hasn't worked, even though you tried and you put up a good defensive strategy of avoiding them, then consider acting as if this person isn't a part of your life. Just leave them out if they should have. Just leave them out of just leave them out of it. They should have nothing else to do with you. However, it's likely that there'll be residual feelings in you about why this even happened and about how it has left you feeling. Remember that there's no point in dwelling in the past. You did all you could to reconcile with the person and to stop them from being mean to you. Get on with your life and activities. Surround yourself by people who aren't mean to you and focus on what matters to you. By demonstrating that the meanness hasn't tripped you up or spoiled your other relationships, you thrive while the mean person gets to live with their meanness. If the mean behavior continues or escalates, tell someone who could make a positive difference. If it's a school, tell a teacher, family member, or adult immediately. If it's at work, tell human resources, a trusted boss, or even trusted coworkers. You need to ensure your own safety from retaliation in the instance where it appears that the person in question may have developed a vendetta against you. If the mean behavior continues in the home environment, you're in a more difficult position. If it's siblings, ask your parents to intervene and to set solid rules and limitations on behavior across the household. If it's a parent, talk to your other parent first. If both parents are defensive and refuse to help you, ask for help outside of the home, such as a close family not living with you, at church or school counselor, trusted mentor, etc. Don't put up with anything that endangers you emotionally or physically. And then they've got a community Q&A. So there's just a bunch of questions, and I'm not going to read all that. Tips: never bottle up your anger. Sometimes people are mean because they are not like you and they want to be like you. Although it's always good to try to find out exactly why exactly someone is being mean to you, you often may never know. However, you may have a gut feeling if someone's being mean to you, and you don't have to stand for it. Stick up for yourself if it's intended to hurt you. Never try to be mean back. This ruins relationships, escalates arguments, and can result in dangerous behavior. There's no point in stooping to their level, as this turns into a lose-lose situation. Be nice to them, and they may be nicer to you. Be yourself. Never change yourself for anyone. Don't let them hurt you anymore. Stand up for yourself, and don't let them push you around. Tell them how much they have hurt you. Warnings. People feed off gossip, but they do not use it to help you. Bear that in mind and don't spread any. And that's the end of that article. So, not bad. This is fun. And at the end it says, become an author, write an article. So, that's cool. And that's the end of the wiki how to do anything snippet. So now I'm going to go to my Audacity again. And obviously I've went off track and talked more than I wanted to, so I hit stop. The little yellow square is stop. And what I really want to do is I really want to stop talking at the end of the article. I guess the tips are kind of okay. I didn't really need to keep going on and on. I could have just stopped before the community Q&A. Don't put up with anything that endangers you emotionally or physically. But I did kind of like the tips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the last little section of tips. Don't let them hurt you anymore. Stand up for yourself and don't let them push you around. Tell them how much they have hurt you. Oh, no, warnings. People feed off gossip. That's really a good one. So after the gossip, I'm going to cut that. So go to Audacity, and I need to try to find my last statement about gossip. So let me hit this and then hit play. You might not hear it because I'm using headphones and this is going to come out of an external speaker. Okay. People feed off gossip, but they do not use it to help you. Bear that in mind and don't spread any. Okay, bear that in mind and don't spread any. Stops right here. So I'm going to highlight all of this all the way to the end. All this random chatter that I don't need, and then I'm going to hit my delete button on my keyboard. Then I'm going to go all the way to the front of my MP3 file, and I'm going to look for this little dead space. I'm going to highlight that and delete that as well. Then I'm going to go to File and hit Export Audio. Now here's my folder, Why Are People Mean? And this is going to be 2.mp3. So I'm going to type in 2 right here. And MP3 is already selected, but if you hit this drop-down list, you can see that you can make a lot of different audio file types, waves, OGs, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to stick with the MP3 and hit save. You have an ability to enter metadata information here, artist name, track title, so on and so forth. I don't generally do that, but you can do it if you want to. And now it's going to export that whole file. Now, I thought that I was going to be able to read that in under 7.55 minutes, which is how long it took for me to read the first one. And actually, it looks like I went up to, oh, I can't move the scroll bar, but maybe 10 minutes. I didn't realize I was reading that much. I didn't realize it was going to be that long. Okay. This says it's going to take a minute. It's about a minute and a half left to finish this export. Seconds are a lifetime when you're doing a video. 2-minute video is about the attention span for most viewers. So if you're making tutorials or anything along that line, if it's not a lecture, it's good to try to keep everything within a 2-minute range, or maybe even 5 minutes, but most people get bored and don't want to watch something that's 10 minutes or a half an hour or even an hour. They get restless and they want to pause and take a break or start daydreaming. I haven't been successful in creating 5-minute videos. Mine are usually long because I tend to repeat as if no one has any idea how to make a web page, and I tend to go from the top to the bottom, and then I want to show the example next to the code. So my videos are always longer. Alright, we have a few more seconds left and then that'll be done. And I can click the button and you can see it pop up. Okay, so now I can close this. Save changes before closing? No, I don't need to. If you're going to save changes because you want to actually play with it more or edit it more, then you could save it as, but, or whatever. Now if I go to my folder, Why Are People Mean, you see 1.mp3 and the one I just read, 2.mp3. So go back to my page and refresh the page so that it accepts the new thing that I created. And it worked. Except oh, that's the first one. I didn't click on the right one. I'm like, what the heck? There you go. Okay, so that actually was 11 minutes and 40 seconds. That was really long. I could have tried to speed read, but I didn't. And so that that basically covers how to make this type of thing that you could use for whatever purposes, helping your kid learn how to read, or reading stories to your children, or you can take a scanned image of a picture that your kid drew, and then you can ask them to tell you about it, and you can use your headset and put it on them and say, okay, tell me about this picture, and you could capture your child's voice when they're 4 or 5 and cute as can be, talking about a picture that they that they drew. And then when they get older, you can open this up for them and let them click on these links and open up their image and hear what they say that their image is all about. It's kind of, there's a lot of different things you can do with something that's really simple like this as far as using multimedia. It doesn't have to be for school. It doesn't have to be for a business. It can just be for whatever your imagination can turn it into. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go do some dishes. Fun stuff.